A corpse appears on a truck while someone sanitizes. Dinnertime conversation between two men. 5 years after struggling to forgive his family's wrongdoers, he wants to talk about more mundane things. A detective emerges after crossing a police line. At the crime scene, another officer shows him the battered truck with the body on top. While examining the corpse, he examines the building around the vehicle. The second researcher doubts small structures can leap so far. After seeing no broken glass on the pavement, the first investigator assumes the truck rolled to its discovery. 2 investigators see a crime scene structure after turning the corner. Characters appear in futuristic skyscrapers. Sweatshirt man stays first. The red tie man entered the building ahead of him. Next, the security guard answers the front desk phone. The elderly woman is in the lobby center. Being lost. The young woman who enters the lobby past the reception security guard is stopped and must sign the visitor's log behind the line. The security guard tells the other man to take a package to the 39th floor and heads to the elevators at reception. Given the full first elevator, the red tie guy and elderly woman prefer the empty new one. Entering the building with the security guard. He follows her inside alone, shouting and grabbing the doors. A hoodie man is the same. After everyone enters, the elevator stops and gets stuck. In the main security room, an older guard watches hockey. Once a younger security guard arrives, they discuss the game. Thus, the senior guard informs the building engineer. Window repairs are done by technicians. On top of building. The guard orders the engineer to check the elevator first because people are trapped. The guard worries. He's a temporary worker who doesn't know emergency protocols, but the elderly woman keeps asking. The elevator announces an engineer is coming to fix it. When the older guard speaks soothingly and asks them to speak into the camera, they notice a microphone issue. The elevator security guard calls the lobby on his cell phone but gets no signal. Young woman gives him phone. Short call, signal loss. As elevator music begins, the red tie man sings and roars. The building engineer and his crew are walking to the upper machine room when a wind gust knocks off his cap, nearly sending him falling. The diner detective sees a man picking up more glass shards on the sidewalk. He orders the man to stop and declares the area a crime scene. A large shard of glass that narrowly missed his partner supports the theory. An engineer inspects the building elevator from the shaft. He informs the main security room that everything appears to be in order but must be reset at the elevator. An older guard tells the overcome the light will be out for 20 seconds. The elderly woman yells at the security guard after the power returns. He apologizes and says he has severe claustrophobia. The elevator fills with air when the third man presses an upper-level panel. One man warns the security guards that climbing the machine room cable is dangerous, but the guard wonders if they should try. The primary security officer said the reset failed when the engineer asked. "I'll investigate in the basement," he says. 2 security officers in the main office think someone jumped out that morning, citing the shattered window. The younger one is worried when she hears that the red tie man gave the elderly woman his business card on the elevator. After he mentions the old woman, everyone starts talking. He says he can tell a rich person from a poor one by comparing the 2 women and saying the younger woman's clothes are more expensive. She quickly turns around to accuse him of grabbing her behind as the elevator lights flicker. An elderly main office security guard asks the engineer about his involvement. The engineer pulls a lever on the elevator side and says, "From where I'm standing, it appears to be working fine." He asks if that fixes it. After hearing nothing changed, the senior guard tells the engineer he will manually reset it on the rooftop. Elevator lights flicker again. The event is being watched from the main office. Younger viewers are alarmed by something unusual on screen. The engineer investigates an unusual sound under the elevators. While descending the shafts, an elevator nearly crushes him. Again, the elevator lights flicker before turning off. Passengers report hearing strange noises as the elevator lights cycle on and off. The young woman is found on the ground when the light returns for the 3rd time. Security at the main office wants updates. When the younger sibling notices the young woman's strained back, the others panic. Red tie man hides his bloody appearance after realizing it. The girl said it felt like something bit her. The third man asks if anyone has sharp objects that could have hurt her. The elevator security guard sees blood on the red tie guy as he explains that she fell on him. The security guard pats him down. The security guards call the police after an elevator assault. The restaurant officer is talking to forensics. After verifying that the elevator call is about a building with a broken window, he accepts the case and returns to the main office with his partner. When the younger guard sees something unusual on the screen, he records it and shows the older guard, who dismisses it as grain. The elder brother comforts the younger one as he desperately grasps his cross, convinced he saw something evil. The security guard and third man try to force elevator doors open from inside. No idea, even if they could, if the shaft is holed. Since the elevator is dangling, the elderly woman worries it will fall. While helping with the doors, the red tie man finds himself in the elevator's rear, far from the other passengers. Thus, monitoring him is wise. He still believes he hurt the girl. The two investigators arrive at the main security office, where the senior guard explains the attack and shows them surveillance footage. He tells them the red tie man is blamed by other elevator passengers. Case study by the investigator. He advised the security guards to call the elevator company for a repairman and his partner to call the fire department. After that, he wants to know who's inside. Focusing on the security guard. He orders the main office security guards to retrieve his files after discovering he is a temporary worker. The older guard dismisses the footage again after hearing what the younger guard saw. The investigator dismisses it and instructs elevator passengers to flash their IDs into the camera. Due to illegible ID writing, the detectives and older security guard review the visitor's log in the lobby to assess the situation. A younger guard in the main security office monitors the elevator surveillance camera when the lights flicker again. Everyone in the elevator vanishes and reappears as lifeless, blood-stained corpses on the floor, shocking the young woman. That seemed like a moment ago. Plus, everyone knows their role. All illumination is lost again. In the dark, the elevator mirror shatters and strange noises return. After power is restored, a mirror shard stabs the red-tied man in the neck. The younger guard returns the two investigators' calls. The man's body is visible. Following that, the investigator seeks assistance. The younger guard starts telling stories as they review the footage. He says people always hurt themselves and commit suicide when the devil is around. He sometimes becomes human and hurts others. His final statement suggests the devil may be in the elevator. The detective doesn't care what the guard says. As you watch the footage, you suspect the elevator security guard committed the murder. His partner says his records show he's violent. Other elevator passengers are also guessing the killer. The fire department enters through the main security office. The investigator informs elevator passengers that the area is a crime scene. The investigator does not believe the incident was accidental, but neither do they believe the perpetrators are murderers. He suggests something and gets help. The man is told to take a slip of paper from the deceased's pocket. The office workers discovered that the deceased man wanted to meet with someone in the building after deciphering his letter. After meeting with the fire department, the diner detective goes to the floor where the window broke. The suicide note the jumper left is strange, say forensics. I can hear the devil's footsteps drawn near was written last outside the elevator. Several firefighters try to pry open the doors but fail. Inside, a man tries to exit the elevator through the top, but the security guard thinks he's fleeing. A building employee who was supposed to meet the deceased man in the elevator is talking to the detective. After discovering the person was a con artist, he demands to know who else he deceived. Returning to the elevator, people pat each other. The detective returns to the main security office to inform his partner that one person likely did not sign in. He claims they would be less naive if they wanted to hurt the red tie man. He tells him to compare the lists. The footage shows the young guard approaching the security guards. However, the detective gives him the apology note from the driver who killed his wife and child in a car crash. In their conversation, he says humans can be wicked without the devil. The veteran guard spots the exact moment the girl fears being grabbed while reviewing the tape. The footage shows no one doing it. With her suspicions, the detective suspects she's lying. They tell elevator passengers to stop frisking when they see them. As the argument resumes, the elderly woman threatens to pepper spray the security guard. He takes the spray from her in the main security office. The senior guard is calling the engineer to stop his disappearance. The engineer cannot receive walkie-talkie messages while descending the elevator cable. He descends the cable and chain from his protective gear in the elevator with his eyes open. The security guard is humiliating the elderly woman with worn-off pepper spray. They can hear the elderly guard announce a heavy cargo in the elevator from above. Blood flows in when the top panel is opened. They identify the dead engineer by listening to radio transmissions. They can help remove the panel. The investigator sees the engineer on the elevator while roof inspecting the shaft. Most likely dead. Tells everyone to change channels because the elevator is listening. He orders the fire department into the lift through the wall. Firefighters dig through the wall while reviewing footage in the main office. Old lady stole wallets. Detective, all were terrible people. He watches the screen. Security camera footage shows everyone inside dead again. However, the cop appears next. They see the third man entering the lobby with a satchel on video. No bag was in the elevator. The elevator lights flicker again before turning off. When the security guard strikes a match, a spooky sight appears next to the reactivated lights. One elevator side has a lifeless elderly woman hanging from a rope. When the detective sees it on screen, they lock down the building and send all employees to the lobby. The senior guard descends to the basement. The office is empty except for the detective and younger guard. The younger guard says the Devil's Elevator audience is there for a reason. The two men lower the dead elderly woman. Investigators also find the bag in a lobby restroom. Detectives think the satchel's tools could rig an elevator. Back at the main office. When left alone, the younger guard prays into the car. People on the elevator dislike his actions. They speak quickly but little. So, the two men fight. In the main office, the young woman demands the security guard kill the other man. Detectives enter and observe the elevator while the guard prays. The elevator passengers calm down when told to stand back and touch the walls. The officer presses the younger guard to conclude his story. He tells him everyone dies. After asking his business partner about the young woman, she says she was seeing a lawyer and there is evidence she was married to a wealthy man. They rush into the lobby to find the lawyer. His only information is that he is a forensics expert and that they should investigate her closest friends. Financial reporting. Detective asks for woman's husband's number. The elderly guard turns off the water in the basement. While in the basement, he alerts the firemen, who break the wall. After finding a wire in water, he tries to pull it out. The lobby crowd screams when he trips and falls later. The detective's efforts fail, and he dies in the elevator. The three survivors argue again. After returning to the office, the two detectives suspect the younger woman's husband, who owns the building security company, planned it all. The police are investigating whether the elevator security guard is the real perpetrator and the other two victims are props. The elevator lights go out again. Detectives tell them to use phone screens as flashlights, but they are violently taken. Power returns, but the security guard is dead. In panic, the two survivors on the left grabbed a shard of glass and positioned themselves to fight. The investigator desperately seeks the younger guard's help. He advises them to be themselves. The investigator tells a personal story and asks them to put down their glasses. They do it with aching hearts. The lights flicker again. With a shard of glass in her throat, the young woman lies on the ground as the man helps her. The old woman's corpse rises behind him, signaling his duty. A car driver image appears in his mind. He reaches for a beer as he crashes. He exits his car and sees the other in a ditch. A mother glances at her child on the grass in front of the crushed vehicle before dying. The man leaves a note on the other car's window and flees, incredulous. In the elevator, he apologizes again and begs the old woman to take him instead of the young woman. The elevator plunges down the shaft after the demon rejects the deal. After it ends, the person finds the engineer's radio and talks. Explains his actions to the detective. The young guard and detective listen and understand him. The devil is furious when the young woman dies in his embrace in the elevator, saying she wanted him. The lights flicker as firemen unlock the elevator doors. After the devil speared the man, no one survived. No sign of the elderly woman. After the dead are removed by paramedics, the investigator sees the man in the lobby. Next, he'll take him to the station. We see them in a car. The man is in the back. The detective tells him he killed his family that day. He finally forgives him after everything. Subscribe and enable notifications for more videos like this. I appreciate your time.